Hello guys, my name is Balkrishna Srivastava and welcome to Code with BK. So in this video, we write a Java program to extract numbers from a string text, and we will see how to extract integers and decimal point values from a string text. So before we begin, it is a request to please subscribe to my channel, because out of 100 viewers, only 1 or 2 is subscribed, and the subscription is very important. So please do subscribe to my channel. So let's begin. So suppose I have been given a string S, 71st 100 for came on 8th September 2022. Okay, suppose this is my string text and I have to extract numbers, in this case integers, from this string. Alright, so for this given input, I should be outputting integers 71, okay, 100, okay, then 8, okay, and 2022. And I ignore all the remaining text because those are not integers. Alright, so given this input, I need this output, and this is what we are going to do in the program. So first I'm going to tell you how to extract integers, just as we are doing in this case, and then I will show you how to extract decimal point values. And when I test the codes in the end, I am going to test them on multiple test cases, all possible variations of test cases. Alright, so again I am going to use two approaches to solve this problem, and we'll see how do we get the same result using two separate approaches. Okay, so the first one I'm going to use, okay, simple loops, okay, and the second one I'm going to use scanner class. Okay, second one also uses loops, but the main point here is scanner, right? Okay, so let me start with my first method, okay, which I use, simple loops. Okay, so if I copy this string here, September 2022, okay, if I ask you to extract integers from this, you are going to straight away say 71, 100, 8 and 22. Very intuitive, very clear. But what actually you did was, you started from left to right. Okay, if I have an index I iterating from left to right, you saw 7 and then you saw 1, you say, okay, this is an integer. Okay, because on the sides of it, on the right end you have S, which is a non-digit, and on the left you have the boundary. You found the first integer. Then you say this is another integer because these are 3 continuous digits together. Okay, then you say 8 is an integer because it is the only digit between 2 non-digit characters. And then you say 2022 is another integer because it is 4 continuous digits and it is surrounded by, okay, on left hand and on the left hand and the right hand with non-digit characters. Right hand is a boundary, right? Okay, that is what we do. We extract continuous digits which are basically integers. Okay, so we iterate from left to right, we find 7. We try to accumulate as many as digits possible after 7. So we find 1 after 7 and then we find a non-digit character which is S. Okay, similar for this case, we find a digit. Okay, here we go as right as possible with continuous digits and then we find a non-digit character which is a space. Similarly for this case, find a digit, there is no digit after this, so we stop here. And same for 2022, you start here, you go as right as possible as long as there are continuous digits and you stop here. Alright, and this is the exact idea we use in our code. Okay, so I'm going to write a function void extract ints, takes a string S, which is the string text, okay, and right now it is going to print, this method is going to print all the integers in this string S. And when I code this in the system, I'm going to show you variations where you can also store these integers into a list, an array list, and then you can return the array list. So right now the return type is void because we are not returning anything, all the integers are printed in this method. We can also have an array list return where we return all the integers in an array list. Okay, so I'll have the length of the string in a variable L. Okay, my I starts at 0 from the left end. I iterate till the end of the string. Okay, so idea was, if the ith character here at index I is a digit, we accumulate as many as digits possible which are continuous. Okay, so I get the ith character in my variable ch, I say s dot char I. Alright, so if this character is a digit, I will use the is digit method in the character class. You can write your own method as well. Alright, so you say character dot is digit ch. That is, if this character is a digit 0 to 9, then you try to accumulate as many as continuous characters. So you have to accumulate characters somewhere. So for that, I will take a string integer equal to blank. Okay, because right now my aim is just to print the integers, right? So I can store my integers in string form as well. So when we have to return integers in this string as an array list, in that case we will see how we convert this integer to ints, store in an array list and then return. Right now we just want to print these integers in the output. Okay, so when you found a digit, you go as right as possible as there are continuous digits. So you say while I is less than L, that is I'm moving right from left, and I say character dot is digit, and within this I pass the ith character in S. So I say S dot caret I. Okay, this parenthesis closes, this closes, and while loop condition closes. Okay, alright. I found a digit, and then from this index I try to go as right as possible as long as the ith character is the digit. Okay, and I'm not using ch because ch is storing the character at index I, and this loop will move forward, so the value of I is going to increase. So in each iteration you will have to update the value of ch, which might cause an error, which I'll show you in the code later. Okay, why not taking ch here? Alright. Okay, so starting this index, go as right as possible, accumulate characters as in integer plus equal to this ith character s dot caret I, and then I do I plus plus. So my while loop is over here. Okay, so when I am here, okay, when this while loop closes, I have extracted the integer, and now I just need to print it. So I say sopln integer. Okay, right now I'm printing each integer on separate line. Okay, we can have different formats of output. Okay, I'll show you that in the code. Okay, we are able to extract integer and print it. That is the point right now. Okay, and once you print the integer, you reset this integer string to blank. Okay, so for the next integer you start with blank, otherwise all integers will be accumulated in one single integer, which you don't want. Okay, so this was the if condition. Okay, if the ith character is a digit, okay, that you are here at 7 or at 1 or at 8 or at 2. Okay, or if you are at a non-digit character, else part, you basically just do I plus plus. For a non-digit character, you just move forward in the loop. Okay, and this is the code that is going to extract integers from a string text, alright, and put each integer on a separate line. So let me quickly dry run this code before I move on to my next method. So I'm going to take a shorter string. I'm going to say today is 03/08/2023, and my output should expect 03, 08 and 2023 as the three integers in this text. Okay, so I'm going to start with integer is blank. It's a blank string. I have L as the length of the string, which is going to be fixed. L is not changing. So L is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, I is equal to 0. Okay, and indices are going to be 0, 1, 2, 18. Okay, while I is less than L, I is less than 19. Okay, you have ch. Okay, character is digit function. I'm writing this character dot is digit, in short here is digit, and I'll also write s dot caret I here. Okay, we're changing I. Okay, integer is updated, I moves forward. Okay, you print. So if this is your output, okay, we'll see the output here. Okay, integer is set to blank, L is set to 19, I is set to 0, I is less than 19 is true. Ch is s dot caret I is here. Ch is uppercase T. If it is digit, false, you move over, you do I plus plus, I becomes 1. Alright, uppercase T is not a digit. Okay, you move on, you check I is less than 19, this is true. I comes here, I is at lowercase o. Lowercase o is not a digit, false, move to the else part, I is incremented by 1, I becomes 2, you go back to check for while loop condition, this is true. This is less than 19, I comes here, ch is lowercase d. Character is digit, ch false, you go to the else part, I is incremented 3, you go back to check for while loop condition, 3 is less than 19 is true, I is here at lowercase a, ch is s dot caret I lowercase a. Character dot is digit, lowercase a is digit is false, you move to the else part, I becomes 4, I comes here. Okay, you go back to check for while loop condition, I less than L, I less than 19 is true. Ch is s dot caret I, which is lowercase y. Character dot is digit is false because lowercase y is not a digit. You move to the else part, I becomes plus 1, I becomes 5. Go back to check for while loop condition, this is true. I comes here, which is a single space. Ch stores a single space. Character dot is digit ch. This is not a digit, false. I is incremented, I moves here. Okay, I is incremented, I becomes 6. Condition is true. Ch now is lowercase I. Ch is lowercase I. Character is digit is false. I is not a digit. Okay, you move to the else part. I becomes 7. This condition is true. I becomes 7. Okay. Now ch is s dot caret I, which is lowercase s. Okay. So you see we are picking each character and we are moving forward as long as it is not a digit. Lowercase s is not a digit. You move to the else part, which is I plus plus. I becomes 8. You go back to check for while loop condition. This is true. I comes here. Okay. Ch is now a single space. Okay. Character is digit is false. Space is not a digit. You move to the else part. I becomes 9. Go back to check for this condition. This is true. Okay. Now this is 19. Ch is now 0, which is a digit. Okay. This is true. So you come inside this. You say while I is less than L. Okay. Right. I is less than L. I is less than L is true. I is 9. Okay. Character dot is digit s dot caret I. This is true. Okay. Okay. This is going to be false, 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 and true eventually. Okay. That's why we are inside this. Okay. I is less than L. Character dot is digit s dot caret I. S dot caret I is this same thing right now. Okay. Condition true. Condition true. S dot caret I is a digit. Okay. True. You do integer plus equal to s dot caret I, integer now becomes 0. Okay, you do I plus plus, I becomes 10. You go back to check for these conditions, I is less than L is true. Okay, character dot is digit s dot caret I, s dot caret I is now 3. This character dot is digit s dot caret I is true because C is a digit. These two conditions are true. You do integer plus equal to s dot caret I, integer becomes 0, 3. Okay, you do I plus plus, I becomes 11. You go to check for these conditions again. As less than 11 is true and character dot is digit s dot caret I is now here, s dot caret I is a slash. Okay, this condition is true, this condition is false because this is not a digit. Okay, while loop breaks, you print integer, so you print 0, 3. Okay, this integer is printed and then you set integer to blank. Integer is set to blank if block completes. You go back to check for this condition. I is less than L, 11 is less than L, 19 is true. Okay, you come inside, you say ch is s dot caret I. Ch is s dot caret I is at slash, so ch is slash. Okay, this is digit false. You move to the else part, I becomes 12. This condition is true. Ch is now 0. Ch is 0, character dot is digit is true. So this was false, this is true. Okay, this condition is true because ch is a digit. You come inside, I is less than L, I is less than L is true. 12 is less than 19. Character dot is digit s dot caret I. S dot caret I is 0. Okay. This is a digit true. This condition is true. True, true, go inside. Integer plus equal to s dot caret I. Integer now becomes 0 because it was blank. You added a 0 to it. Okay. You do I plus plus, I becomes 13. 13 is less than 19 is true. Second condition is s dot caret I is digit. S dot caret I is 8. This is a digit true. This condition is true. These two conditions true. Integer plus equal to s dot caret I. Integer becomes 0, 8. Okay. I plus plus I goes 14. Okay. 14 is less than L is true. Okay. I comes here. Okay. I comes here. S dot caret I is now a slash. Okay. S dot caret I is a slash. Condition is false because this is not a digit. Alright. While loop closes, you come here SOPL and integer, you print 0, 8. You set to integer to blank, set integer to blank. Your if block closes, you go back to check the condition again. 14 is less than L is true. Okay, alright. You say ch is s dot caret I, ch is slash. Okay, because I is at 14. Okay, this is digit false. Okay, I increments, I becomes okay 15 now. Okay, I moves on here. You check this condition again, this condition is true again. Okay, for I equal to 15, this condition is true. Ch is h dot caret I, ch is 2 now. Okay, ch is 2, this condition is true, character dot is digit, ch is true because 2 is a digit. Okay, this condition is true, you go inside, I is less than L, 15 is less than 19 is true, character dot is digit, h dot caret I is 2 because it is ch right now. Okay, condition true, you go inside, integer plus equal to h dot caret I, integer is equal to 2 now. Okay, I plus plus I becomes 16. This condition 16 is less than 19 is true. This condition is digit, h dot caret I is 0 now, right? I is at 0 now. Okay, this is true, this is true, this is true. Integer plus equal to h dot caret I, integer now equal to 20. Okay, I plus plus I becomes 17. 17 is less than 19 is true. 17 is less than 19 is true. Is digit, h dot caret I is 2 now. Okay, condition true, you do integer plus equal to h dot caret I, you do 20 plus 2, 20, 202. Okay, you do I plus plus, I becomes 18. 18 less than 19 is true. Is digit, h dot caret I, is digit, I is now here. This is 3. 3 is digit, true, condition true. Okay, you go inside, integer plus equal to h dot caret I, integer equal to 20, 23. I plus plus, I becomes 19. 19 is less than 19 is false. While loop breaks, you print integer, integer is 2023, you print 2023. Okay, you set integer to blank, integer is set to blank. Okay, you go back to check for this condition, I is less than L is false. Your outer while loop breaks and right, your function ends. Alright, so for this string input, we were able to extract 03, 08 and 2023, which are integers in this string. Okay, so two things to note here, which I'm going to show you in the code later, right, when I'm going to run this on a system, is why not take ch inside here? Why not store ch equal to h dot caret I and then add ch and then check ch here? Because there is a point where I reaches the end. When it reaches the end and I do ch h dot caret I will get an error because I is at the boundary of the string. Okay, one. Second thing is we are extracting integers as 0308. Okay, we have the prefix 0 intact. When we convert this string into corresponding integers, we lose this prefix 0. Okay, 03 becomes 3 and 08 becomes 8, because when you convert this string which contains an integer into an int type, it becomes 3 and 8 instead of 03 and 08 respectively. Okay, we'll see that in the code. Alright, so this was the first method where we use loops, okay, and strings to basically extract integers from this given text, right? And when I run the code, I'm going to run this sample as well and multiple more test cases as well. Alright, so now let's move on to the second method that uses scanner. Okay, so now we look at the second method to extract integers from a given string using scanner. Okay, so what we do in this case, so I have this string, I am going to replace all the non-digit characters by white space. Alright, so this becomes 7 and 1 stay as it is because they are digits, space, 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 100, space, 3 more spaces. Okay, I'm using underscore to denote space. Then I have space, 5 more spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 more space, 5 more spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 more space, 4 more spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because these are all non-digits. Okay, they have to be replaced by white space character, which is a single space. Then space again, 2 more spaces, 8 now. Okay, because this is a digit. Alright. Then 2 more white spaces. Then 1 more for this white space. Then 3 more for September. Then 1 more and then 2022. Alright, okay, so now this string becomes a string that contains only integers and white spaces, and now we can use the scanner class. Alright, use this as a scanner source and call hasNextInt and nextInt methods to extract all these integers. Alright, so we have to use hasNextInt and nextInt method in scanner class. Okay, and I've already explained in a separate video how nextInt actually works. Okay, when this string is given as a scanner source, I will add a link of the video in the description as well. Alright, but explaining in short, nextInt basically extracts and returns first integer from scanner source, ignoring white spaces. So nextInt extracts and returns first int from scanner source. So this is a scanner source. Okay, you can have multiple types of scanner sources. One of this is basically this, a string. Okay, and ignoring white spaces. That is, when scanner is scanning for an integer, it will ignore all the white spaces till it finds an integer and returns the first integer that it finds. So for this scanner source, when you call next int, 71 is returned. When you call next int again, 100 is returned. These 3 white spaces are ignored. When you call next int again, all these white spaces are ignored. 8 is returned. And when you call next int again, 2022 is returned. These white spaces are ignored. Okay. But how do we know we need to call next int only 4 times? We use has next int that basically checks if there is an integer to be extracted from this scanner source. Okay. So if has next int, next int. 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 Does not have next int, the loop stops. Alright. And this is what we code. We replace all the non-digit characters by white spaces. We write a separate function for it. And then we use this as a scanner source in a scanner object and call has next int and next int methods to extract integers. Okay. So let me write this helper method where we replace all the non-digit characters with white spaces. So I'll say string, I'll call this function replace non-digits. Okay. Takes a string s. Okay. This will return a string which will contain only digits, and all the non-digit characters from this string are replaced as white spaces. Okay. So starting with a blank string to return. Okay. Because as you know, strings in Java are immutable. You cannot say set the given index in this string to blank. You cannot change the individual characters in a string, but you can develop a string from blank. Okay, by adding characters to it. Okay. And this is the final value we have to return. Okay, only digits. Okay, I iterate from left to right. Alright, I get the ith character in this string, caret I. Okay, now if this ch is a digit, I add it to only digits. Else, if this is not a digit, I add a blank to only digits. Okay, so if I am going to use character.isDigit method, okay, inbuilt method in the character class, you can write your own method as well. If character.isDigit, okay, ch, I do only digits plus equal to ch. Okay, if this character is a digit, add it to only digits. Else, if this character is not a digit, add a single white space to only digits. Okay, I guess this is not too small and you can actually see this. Alright, so this is string only digits to blank. For int I equal to 0, I less than s dot n, I plus plus. For loop starts here. Okay, char ch is s dot caret I. You get the character at ith index in s in ch. If ch is digit, you add it to only digits. If ch is not a digit, else part is adding a blank space instead of ch to only digits, and finally returning only digits, and loop closes before you return. Okay, so this is our helper function. Okay, to remove all the non-digit characters from a string to get this. Alright, so my helper method is done. That is going to remove all the non-digit characters from this string. Okay, and give me back something like this. So the first thing I do is call this method on this string. So I'm going to say string only digits is replace non-digits. That is calling this function with this given string s and storing the return value in this variable only digits. Okay, and then I have to do this. Alright, I create a scanner object with this string as a source. So I say scanner sc is equal to new scanner. Okay, and pass this string as source from which this scanner object is going to read. Okay, so now we have a scanner object, and on this scanner object we call has next int and next int. So as long as has next int returns true, we extract an int. Alright, so while okay sc dot has next int, there is an integer to extract from this scanner source. I say give me the next integer. I is sc dot next int. Okay, I got an integer and then I print it sopln I. Alright, and while loop closes and my function closes. Right? Okay, it is good practice to close this scanner. Okay, so I'm closing this scanner. Does not make any difference. You'll get just a warning if you don't close it. Okay, so this is the code to extract integers from a given string, and in this case we are printing the output as int type. Okay, in the previous case we are printing output as string type. Alright, and again this method is only extracting the integers and printing it. In this method it is not returning anything, that's why the return type is void. if you want to store these integers into a list and then return it, I'll show you that in the code how we do that. Okay, so let me quickly dry run this, all right, for this given case. Okay, so I have this as only digits. Okay, this only digits is this string. Okay, for this given input s. Then I create a scanner source. Okay, sc equal to new scanner, and I pass this string as argument to the constructor. Okay, so this is my scanner source. Okay, I say while sc dot has next int, sc dot has next int is going to return true because there is an integer present. Okay, when scanner starts scanning, it sees there is an integer present, true. Okay, you say I is sc dot next int, I is now sc dot next int, which is 71. Okay, and you print 71, so your output is 71. Okay, then you go back to check for this condition, sc dot has next int. Now since this part is scanned, it starts scanning from here, and we know white spaces will be ignored till an integer is found. So has next int ignores these white spaces and returns true because there is 100 to be found. Alright, so this returns true. You go inside I is sc dot next int, sc dot next int returns 100. So I is 100. You print I. Okay, you go back to check for the while condition again. Sc dot has next int. It looks for an integer and it says yes, there is an integer available, which is then extracted using next int. So I is now 8, which is now printed. Okay, you go back to check for condition again. Has next int again returns true because there is 22, which is extracted into I, which is 22 now, and you print I, which is 2022. Okay, you go back to check for this condition again. Has dot next int returns false because you have reached the end of the source. Okay, while this condition is false, while loop breaks, you come here, you close this scanner, and this is the output you get for this input string. Alright, for the string that we took in the previous case, I'll say today is 0803082023. Okay, let me run this code for this case. So if this is our s, our only digits will contain the digits from the string and everything else is going to be white space. So we have today 5 characters white space, 1 2 3 4 5, then a white space again, one more, then 2 white spaces for is, then white space again, then 0 3 white space, 0 8 white space, 20 23. Okay, this is my only digits for this s. Okay, so I'm here, I create a scanner, okay, object, and I pass this string, okay, into the constructor. All right, sc dot has next int. It starts scanning here and it says yes, I have an integer 03. Okay, you say I is sc dot next int, so I gets 3 and not 03 because the leading zeros are removed. You cannot store leading zeros and integers. Okay, I gets 3, you print I, output is 3. Okay, you go back to check for this condition again. Has next int is true because there is 08 available, which is extracted into I. Then using next int, you get I is 8. 0 leading 0 is again removed, so you get 8 as output and not 08. You go back to check for this condition again. This is true. 2023 is available as an integer, which is extracted into I using next int 2023. Okay, so output is 2023. Alright, you go back to check for this condition again. Returns false because you have reached the end of the source. Scanner is closed and your output is 3823. Alright, so you can see the difference from the previous case. In the previous case, we are getting output as 0308. Here we get output as 3 and 8. Okay, because in the previous case, we were storing these integers into a string. We were not converting them to int and then printing it. In this case, the integers are extracted into an int type, okay, which cannot store leading zeros. Okay, so you get 3, 8 and 23. Okay, so this was about extracting integers. What if we have decimal point values, right? Values with decimal places. For that also we are going to use similar approaches, and I'm going to code this in a system and show you how that works. Alright, and when we run and test the code, we also see how we cover negative integers because we are not taking negative integers yet. We also see how we accommodate very large integers. So right now we can store these integers into int type. Okay, what if we have very large values? How we use long type, how we use big integer type. Alright, we'll see that as well in the code. So there are a lot of variations that can happen, right, based upon this input, right, and that we'll see when we test all this in the code and we'll see every possible case. Okay, so let's move on to running this on a system now. So this is the code for the method 1 that we wrote, okay, extracting integers using a loop. We were printing each integer on a line, so I'll say this, okay, and setting the integer to blank again. I've taken certain test cases. On this I'm going to run this extract ints, okay. So I'll say for string text in string text, okay, this out. I'll say integers in plus string text plus, all right, and I'll say print, okay, and I will do this back to integer plus a space, right, okay, so that all integers are printed on the same line. So I have this string text, I will put this in, okay, in double inverted quotes, and then I change a line. I also have to call this method extract ins and pass string text, all right, okay. So let me run this. So in the first case we have 0308 2023, the way we tested. In this case we have 7100, 7100, 22 and 2022, okay. And then my father was born on 0109 1961, mother was this 1857 1 day 66 15 1947 2020 750, all right. So this works correctly, okay. So this is the execution for the first method. Okay, so now what if we want to return all the integers as int values rather than printing them out as strings? So I'll copy this, okay. I will say the return type is now array list of type integer. You cannot pass int here because int is a primitive type, right? You have to pass a class name which is integer wrapper type for int, and you say you create an array list integers equal to new array list, okay, and close, okay, and finally you do return integers, okay. So here we are printing out the integer which we are storing in the string, right? Instead we say integers dot add integer dot value of this string integer, okay. You can use integer dot pass dot int integer or integer dot value, okay. Now this I will change this to 2, I'll change this to 1, okay. Now we will use this method which will return an array list of integers. So I will say copy this, okay, change this to 1, okay. I'll comment this out and I'll say array list integers equal to extract ints pass string text, okay, and then simply print out this integers, okay, all right. So let me run this. So in the first case we have 3 8 2023, and this is how the toString function of array list is defined. So you get something like this as the output, okay. For this case we have the same integers, for this case same integers, and you can see we don't get 0 3 0 8, we get 3 and 8. The leading zeros are removed because integer types cannot store leading zeros. Then we have leading zero removed here as well, okay, and then correct output again, correct output again, and correct output again, okay. We move on to our next method where we extract integers using the scanner class. So I have this helper method, the one that replaces all the non-digit characters by white spaces, okay, and this extract ins that uses scanner object, okay, has next and next int to print all the integers, okay. So I will do this exact same thing that I did in method 1, okay. I'll copy this, okay, I'll paste this, okay, extract ins, okay, and system.out.println, and here I am printing each integer on a line. I will say integer plus a space, okay, so that I get all integers on the same line for one single string text. Extract ins, all right. So let me run this. So 3 8 2023 again, not 03, because we are using int type to store the integer, okay, okay. Correct output, correct output, correct output, correct output, and correct output. Again you can return all the integers in an array list using something like this, integer, okay, you say array list integer
integers equals to new array list. Okay, and you say return integers. Okay, and then you say this is 1, this is 2, so this becomes 1, and this is 2, right? So instead of printing out, we add the extracted integer to integers. Okay, adding I to integers, okay, returning the integers, and I can copy this exact same thing. Okay, let me paste this. I'll comment this out. Okay, all right, so I'm using this method on these test cases. Okay, and for each test case I'm printing out the integers. Okay, so let me print now. Okay, so 3/8/2023. Okay, okay, same as before, is just that in this case we get an array list of integers. Okay, so this was to extract integers. Now we will also see the cases for larger integers, negative values, and then decimal point values. So we say we are in the first method. Okay, and I have a string which has a larger integer. Okay, so this cannot be stored in an int. Okay, so when I run this, okay, I get an exception. Okay, because this string cannot be converted to int. Okay, number format exception. So instead of returning an array list of integers, I can return an array list of long values. Okay, so I'll say long. Okay, I'll say extract ins 3. Okay, and instead of doing integer dot value of, I do long dot value of. Okay, all right, this method is correct. Copy this exact same thing. Okay, and then I say 3, use long, comment this out. Okay, all right, so now I am extracting integers as long values and returning them as an array list of long values. Okay, for all these cases, let me run this, and now this case should run. Okay, so you get this output. Okay, let me add another case, say maybe some gibberish and some large value. Okay, all right, so the both integers are extracted. Okay, now what if my integer is even larger than these two, right? That is if I copy this. Okay, paste this, and I make this double their sizes. Okay, now this is too long for a long type as well, too large for a long type as well. So when I run this, I get number format exception again, because this string cannot be read as a long. Okay, in that case you can change your data type to big integer. Okay, you can say big integer, which is imported from java.math. Okay, you can say big integer extract int 4, and instead of long use a big integer. Okay, and here we are doing long dot value of, instead I do integers dot add new big integer, and I pass this integer string as the argument. Okay, no errors in this. So here I do in case for extract ints 4. Okay, all right, and I use big integer. All right, now these two will also be identified as proper integer values. All right, okay, you can further increase the length of these. So I will remove this entire thing, make it one single number. Okay, all right, so running this again. All right, okay, now how large can a value a big integer can hold? This question you have to answer me. All right, because for our purposes big integer will hold all large enough values. Okay, now this is to tell you that you should have some idea of the type of string text that you are working on. Okay, the range of the integers that it will contain. All right, and using that you can decide you want to use big integer, long, or integer, or if you just want to print the values, use this first method. Okay, so now I will add the same cases for the second method. Okay, so I will add the cases here. If I run this, I will get a number format exception. Okay, oh, I won't get a number format exception, I get blank list. Now can you tell me why? This is because we are using has next int and next int. So has next int will not identify this as an integer. So it will say, okay, there is no integer, so there is nothing to read. Okay, and you stop. So the moment has next int returns false, the loop breaks. All right, and so no integers are added, and so we get blank, blank, and blank. So when we write another method, okay, and we say we return a list of long values, so I say instead of has next int, I say has next long, I say long I is next long. Okay, right, and this is extract ins 3. Okay, so I copy this, paste this, comment the previous one out, and I say extract ins 3 and use the long type for integers. Okay, okay, so this and this will be now identified as long values, and this will be added to the list. Okay, for other cases we still get a blank output. Okay, because has next long will still say, okay, this is not a long, so we stop. Okay, has next long is going to return false for this case and false for this case. Okay, but these two are red because has next long says yes, this is a long. Okay, and these all are replaced by white spaces, so this is ignored, and then has next long again. Okay, now if you want to read these, okay, the longer ones as well, you simply replace long by big integer. Okay, so you say big integer, okay, from java.math, big integer. Okay, and I say has next big integer. Okay, I'll say next big integer. All right, and this has to be a big integer, the variable type. Okay, all right, and again the same thing, but I use extract ins 4. Extract ins 4, oh, big integer type. Okay, so now these will also be identified as big integers. Okay, so let me run this. Okay, so in the return values you can see this list contains these two which are big integers, this contains the single thing which is a big integer. Okay, all right, and the other cases they work the usual. Okay, so we have looked at longer integers, now we look at if we can handle negative values. Okay, so now we see how we can extract negative values as well. So I'll try the second method first. So in this case we are replacing all the non-digit characters by a space. Okay, we are just keeping the digits. So to extract negative values we will also have a case for the minus sign. So I'll say if ch is equal to a minus symbol, okay, then add it to only digits. Okay, so for digits and for minus symbol you add them and replace all the others by a blank. And let me add some cases for negative values here. So these are the two cases I added, and okay, and I will use the first one here, this one here. Okay, okay, all right, and I will comment these out. Okay, because I don't want to bigger integers now, I'm just testing out my negative values. Bigger negative values will also work if these work. Okay, all right, so running this, that uses extract ins 2, that is basically returning an array list of integers and using all these cases. So running this, okay, so this is correct, 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 this is also correct, you get minus 273 and 0, and in this case we don't get any output. Now can you tell me why? Okay, now this is because, okay, so let me print the only digit string. Let me print only digits, so plus only digits. Okay, running this. Okay, so for this case only digits is this which gives you this. For this case we have this, for this case we have this, we are printing only digits first. Okay, for this case we have this, we get the right output. For this case we have this as only digits. Okay, and you don't get any output because if you look at the code, it says if has next int, then you do next int. If has next int returns false, the while loop closes. Alright, so when we have a stray minus symbol, has next int will return false. Now for this false is returned, so while loop terminates and you return. So that is why once this stray minus sign is found, you cannot read any negative values after this stray minus sign. So what if I change this case to say add these two values before the stray minus sign, okay, right, and then run this. For this case we get minus 90 100. For this case we don't get anything. This is because minus 90 minus 100 are valid integers from this string. These are valid integers, these are red, and then you have a string minus symbol that returns negative for has next int, so your reading stops. So these two are red and nothing after that is red, so only the first two are output. First two are red, okay. And in the previous case this is a stray symbol, has next int, return false, nothing is red, okay. So if you have a string minus symbol in your only digit string, no integers will be red after that, okay. Now we can handle this string minus thing in our first case. I will use this case to extract negative ints, okay. Again I have to take a separate case for the minus sign, okay. And we know a negative integer is valid only if there is at least one digit after the minus symbol. So check if there is at least one digit after the minus symbol, okay. If I plus 1 is less than L, that is the next index is a valid index, and character dot is digit s dot caret I plus 1. So if this is the case, then we have a minus sign and a digit after that, okay, that is this minus sign is not stray. In that case we extract the integer. We say integer is starting with a minus sign, okay, and since we are using the minus sign we say I plus plus, and then we extract digits as we do in the above case. So we say this thing exactly, okay, while I less than n, and this is I added to integers, okay, because I was able to add the minus sign already. And we have to add the else part as well. That is, if you have a minus sign and not a digit after it, you say I plus plus, because this is a stray minus symbol, okay, all right. And when I add these cases to my first method, okay, all this is going to give us the right output, okay. So I'm going to uncomment this one, that is extract ins2, okay, that is where I added the minus case, right, okay. And I have to comment these out because my extract ins2, which is returning integers, cannot handle these cases, okay. So let me run this. So for these, for the minus one, you see minus 273 0, then you get minus 90 minus 120, which is we are getting. In the other method where we were using has next int and next int, we were not able to extract these because of this stray minus sign. Here we are able to extract these, and in this case as well, we get this first, these two first, we get these two first, and then we get these three, we get these three, and this is ignored, all right, okay. So if you have a case, if you are working on a code where you can have a minus symbol stray anywhere, but you can also have integers after it, okay, then you can use this method, okay. And if I add more integers, say I had say 8 9 87, okay, and I run this, I should get 8 9 and 87 as well, okay, all right. And you can add this else if case, okay, for long and for big integer as well, okay, all right, okay. So we were able to handle negative values as well, but we saw the limitation for this stray symbol here in these cases for has next int and next int, okay. And now we move on to extracting decimal point values. So now we see how to extract numbers with decimal points, okay. So I am going to use second method, okay, all right, okay. And with a minus sign I am also going to add the case for a period symbol, okay, because digits, minus sign and the period symbol are the only thing I need. I want to replace everything else with a blank space, okay. And then I copy this, okay. So I'll say this is extract doubles 1. Okay, so instead of using hash next int, I use hash next double and use next double instead of next int. I say double d is d. Okay, so let me run for these test cases. String text. Okay, I can copy from the previous one. I can say, okay, I'll say doubles in string text, extract doubles 1. Let me run this. Okay, so I get 71.0, 100.0 because the processing is happening in the very same way it was happening for integers. It's just that the scanning is happening for doubles now. Okay, so 71 is read as 71.0, 100 is read as 100.0 because these are double type values. Okay, you get 3.14 from here, you get 185, 1857 and 166. Okay, you can add a negative value here, say value of something 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 is this, and you get minus 3.14. Okay, and suppose if you have a large number is say this value. Okay, so let's see what we get. We get 2 point into 10 to the power 22. So these are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 19 22 decimal places. So it is able to read a very large integer into a double type. Okay, let me double the size. I will say very large number is this. Okay, and a comma, so it should have a total of 45 decimal places, which is okay. All right. Okay, now let me add a value. Okay, a value with high number of decimal places. Okay, I'll say 2 point something 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 something. Okay, now let me run this. Okay, so you see not all decimal places are covered. Okay, after 886, I guess I have 54886 till here it is happening. Okay, these decimal places are lost. Okay, because this is the capacity for double. Now if you want this entire thing to be read as it is, you can use BigDecimal. So instead of double you say BigDecimal. Okay, you say next BigDecimal has next BigDecimal. Okay, and I use extract doubles 2. Running this. Okay, so you see this value with very large number of decimal point places is read as it is now. Okay, as it is now, and this integer is also read as it is. Okay, because BigDecimal can also handle big integers. All right, and the other values remain the same. Okay, all right, so this is how you can handle decimal point values and very large decimal point values as well. All right, so this is how you extract numbers from a string text, and I divided this problem into 3 parts: extracting integers, then negative integers, and then decimal point values. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful. You like this video, so please subscribe to my channel. And if you don't like this video, please just don't press the dislike button. Please also let me know in the comments what was it that you did not like about this video, so that I can improve on my further videos. And you can also let me know in the comments if there's a question you want to solve or if there's a concept you want to discuss. Thank you.